What's up, ladies and gentlemen? How you guys doing? I hope you're having a fantastic day. And as I mentioned in the community section, we are going to go over Crabhammer as a move and how well Kingler and Crawdaunt got, both in PvE and PvP. So we're just going to talk about everything under the sun here with Crabhammer as a move. It is a very good move. In the main series game, it had a very high chance to critical hit, making it a very good move to begin with. Now, I ran some numbers here. This is the Pokemon GO Hub DB, and Kingler is now the best DPS water type in the game. Palkia is the best neutral because it doesn't have access to an actual water quick move, but for this case we're strictly going with water because this is what you would use in a raid. Kingler knocks out of the ballpark with 16.30 DPS, 0.2 higher than Swampert. But let's not fret about this. Swampert is a beast, so we have to keep that in mind. Swampert, even with a fantastic move like Crabhammer and a pretty powerful fast move, Swampert still comes up because that Hydro Cannon is pretty good. So Swampert does do a pretty good job. Now, as we go down the list, it's kind of a no-brainer. Swampert and Kingler are just so much better than the other water types. Gyarados 1515, Kyogre 1542, Vaporeon 1308. Now Crawdaunt did get extremely better than it once was, beating out Vaporeon for DPS, getting very close to Kyogre, being better than Gyarados in DPS, and even Feraligatr, even though Kyogre's attack stats way leaves higher above Crawdaunt. But we are going to look at that. Now, where things are interesting is because of the stat distributions of both Kingler and Crawdaunt. Their total damage output is rather low. Kind of similar to Gengar. We all know Gengar is a fantastic ghost type. It has a very high attack stat, but its frail body makes it not so good as far as revive and potion retention goes. You're going to use a lot of potions, a lot of revives to try to keep these Pokemon healthy because you're going to go through a lot of them in a raid. They're going to die quick, and that's what this TDO basically is telling you. So TDO 508, that's almost the worst. Crawdaunt has the worst at 413. So what I want to tell you is this, as far as like what should you do for a raid. Swamperts, we obviously all have access to those. Kyogre is still the TDO king because of its high defense and high HP. It's a legendary, so it makes sense. But Kingler, if you're trying to take down something quick and fast when time is against you, you want to go for the DPS, not the TDO. But if you can 3-man it, 4-man it, whatever rate it may be, throwing a Kingler in there will help in the beginning to knock off some time, and then that's when you come in with some higher TDO Pokemon. So you can actually mix the two to get a superior result without wasting a ton of revives and a ton of potions. Again, Crawdaunt's like a discount Kingler. Crawdaunt is going to be better in PvP. We'll get into that in a minute. So let's go ahead and look at Crabhammer as a move. Of course, it's a water-type move. It's a charge move. Its energy is 50, so it's a 2-bar charge move, dealing 85 damage. I do believe... Actually, I know this is the only move in Pokemon GO that does 85 damage. Pretty bizarre, right? I don't know how they come to this conclusion, but it is what it is. And in PvP power, it's a 2-bar charge move doing 75 damage, which is not too bad. We do have Leaf Blade, that's a 3-bar, that still does 70 damage. But as a water move, we'll take it. Still doing 50. Now, it's not as good as Hydro Cannon. Hydro Cannon does... what? It's 90, right? Hydro Cannon does 90 damage in PvP with only 45 energy. So it's nothing on par with Hydro Cannon, but it is actually not a bad PvP move. And the number of turns, 6. So the cooldowns, almost 2 seconds basically. Damage window is very quick. So this is going to be a quick animation. I haven't used it yet, but very quick animation. Crabhammer is boosted by rain, weather, and it deals increased damage to fire, ground, and rock types. Sound effects. Ooh. Interesting. Okay, I digress. So, Kingler. Let's talk about Kingler with Crabhammer. It's weak to electric and grass only. It resists fire, ice, steel, and water. 240 attack stat that's not bad, guys. That's really good. That's almost legendary-like attack stat. 181 defense is okay, but the stamina is where it lacks the most. But let's look at the moves as far as a PvP perspective goes. If you have a Legacy Mudshot, Kingler, you're in luck, because Mudshot's one of the best actual moves for PvP as far as energies gained per turn. And you could give it, I would give it Crabhammer for, again, a hard-hitting move for PvP, right? It did 75 damage, right? And then X-Scissor for your shield busting capabilities. And X-Scissor is interesting, because this is where you could get some actual grass coverage. Now, I did fail to mention, if you don't have Mudshot, Bubble is still a really good move. We know that because Azumarill is a really good PvP Pokemon for the Great League, and it is absolutely fantastic with Bubble. So Bubble is actually a good PvP move. It has good EPT as well. Well, I'd run Crabhammer and X-Scissor. As far as the actual viability of Kingler in the Great League, it's not looking so good because this Pokemon maxed out so well. It's both its defense and stamina stat are going to be extremely low in the Great League. So if you're wanting my recommendation, if you are one of those PvP players that like to battle in all different leagues, you like to challenge people in Master, Ultra, and Great, I'm that way. I love all leagues. This would probably shine a little bit more in the Ultra League as kind of a wild card. Test it out, see what you think. As far as Master League, I don't know. It's too frail for some of the very strong Pokemon in that league, if you ask me. Now, if we go to Crawdaunt, things get interesting. Crawdaunt, though, has a lot of weaknesses. Bug, Electric, Fairy, Fighting, and Grass. It resists heavily Psychic, Dark, Fire, Ghost, Ice, Steel, and Water. Now, the attack stat, still not that low, right? 224 is respectable. The CP screams Ultra League, and that's basically what it's going to be used for. Defense is 142, stamina is 160. So if we could compare 181 defense, 142, 146 stamina, 160. So in terms of Ultra League, this is going to have better stats because Kingler maxes out at a higher level. Crawdaunt's got better stats if you max it out. 100% that is. But does it have the moves to back it up? And honestly, it does. Snarl has a decent energy gain per turn, and does super effective damage against Ghost and Psychic. And this is where things get interesting. Honestly, personally, I'd run Night Slash. Very quick charging up move for PvP. It's not a bad move. And Crabhammer, it's interesting because Bubble charges up really quickly too. But you probably want to hit your foe with a pretty hefty move, right? So Night Slash would be a shield bust. Crabhammer would be a nearly one-hit KO if you're doing neutral damage. So I'd run one of the following. You could bait with Bubble Beam or Night Slash, and you can hit home with Crabhammer. Crawdaunt would actually be a decent Pokemon to use in the Ultra League. You would just simply have to test it out. It has the moves, it has unique stats, and it can be maxed out. So it can be fully used as a Pokemon. You would just have to test it out. You are going to deal some pretty good damage because 224, especially in the Ultra League, is not that bad at all. That's actually really good for the Ultra League. So there you guys have it. There's an in-depth look of Kingler and Crawdaunt and Crabhammer as a move. I want to know what you guys think about the new move in the comment section down below. Are you excited that it's finally hit the game? I personally am excited because Crabhammer is one of my favorite moves in the main series games. It's a very powerful move, doing critical damage, critical hit damage, I should say, more times than not. It's a very good move to use. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, be a part of the channel, and smash that like button. That's it, the boy Fitz today. I'm signing off. See you guys in the next Pokemon Go video.